All right, Mark Rogers TV talking Georgia football. We bring in Savannah Lee from Bulldog Illustrated to run down the offense for us before Kirby Smart hits the podium on Tuesday. Savannah, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Hopefully you're enjoying your summer.
Yes, sir. I'm doing a lot of working part-time and then a little bit of writing for Bulldog Illustrated, and taking a few summer classes. It's been pretty nice and relaxing.
Okay. Just take a little time off for yourself here and there. So when Kirby Smart hits the scene in Hoover, Alabama on Tuesday, I'm sure that he's going to be asked a lot about his quarterback situation. Of course, that's always typically the hot topic. And when you've got one that's expected to do great things and showed some flashes last year, but wasn't nearly as consistent as people would like long term with Jacob Eason, your thoughts about Jacob's performance last year, but more so what you would expect him to do this fall?
I thought that Jacob Eason's performance last year was a good start to a successful career. I will say that, his accuracy issues and stuff like that was probably one of the biggest question marks going into this season. However, I know that he's been attending multiple camps and saw that where he was attending the Manning camp and spending time with Archie and Peyton and all of those. But I just think that he's molding into the quarterback that he's supposed to be, and he's growing into his body a little bit more. And I don't know if you saw that video on Twitter of him and his tight end Isaac Nada, but that was a pretty awesome pass from the dock to the jet ski. I think that the freshman Jake Fromme is testing Eason a lot. I think that after his impressive G-Day performance, Eason was like, okay, I need to get this under control. I need to step up my game and not let this freshman take my job. Both are great quarterbacks and both put on a great show at G-Day, but I think that Eason ultimately takes it in the end because of his experience. And I think that once that Sam Pittman gets the offensive lineman, especially the upcoming freshman, into the system, I think that the line will give him a few more seconds to get that accuracy a little bit better.
All right, Savannah, back up a little bit, because I'm not one of these guys that's on the internet watching stunts and trick shots and cats that can do backflips and all that other stuff. So what was the pass that Eason pulled off here?
I think it was the weekend before July 4th. It was the first or second, and they were down on Lego Coney at I'm not sure whose house it was, but the video is Jacob Eason having the football on the dock and this jet ski coming by, and he just lofting it in the air and just putting it right in the receiver's pocket on the jet ski. And come to find out that the receiver catching it was Isaac Nada, and they've Sports Illustrated picked it up, all the SB Nation and all these different Twitter sites and websites and stuff like that picked it up, and it just kind of exploded. It was funny the other day when Kirby was doing a golf tournament in Athens that he told one of the media guys that he's like, I don't know if that was really real. He probably took it 10 times. I thought it was funny how he was pushing his quarterback a little bit harder and didn't really believe it, but he wants to see it firsthand, I guess. I wish he would do it on the football field. That'd be nice.
Yeah, because the first time that he misses Sony Michel on a swing pass, an easy throw coming out of the backfield, the first thing that anybody's going to mention is that he can throw him off the dock. The guy's on jet skis from 50 yards away, but he can't swing it out to his running back, because he had some of those issues last year where it was, oh, that's Jacob Eason, the guy that we expected, the 5-star, what a pass. And then 2 throws later, why couldn't he make just the routine throw? But that's a freshman quarterback for you, regardless of the talent. Now he just needs to progress. So I am not concerned, and I'm not as critical as a lot of people I've heard of Jacob Eason's performance in 2016 because of what we just mentioned. But it's good to have competition in camp to push any player, any group of positions. I don't generally think it's a good thing when one player at a particular position is by far the best. Then they have to rely on their own self-motivation and incentive and drive to work harder. Otherwise, they're not being pushed by anyone, and it all comes from within. So it's usually good to have some competition because it speaks to the quality of the program, getting elite athletes at every position, but it also speaks to, okay, we're going to have competition at this position, and our number one guy is going to get pushed. And like you say, he's probably going to get that from Jake Fromme and already has.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Fromme pushes him more than people realize. There was a few press conferences during spring where Kirby would just, on the side mention, like, well, Fromme will go and watch film, and that will push Eason to go watch, and they kind of like counteract with each other. I think Fromme wants the starting spot. I think Fromme is talented enough to have the starting spot, but I also think that by him pushing Eason, it's just going to make Eason a better quarterback. But I mean, a great quarterback comes from you have your talent and everything, of course, like that. But if you're going to be very successful, especially in a league like the SEC, you're going to have an offensive line, and that was one of Georgia's biggest struggles last year is keeping a big, strong offensive line. We have the guys or whatever, but they were, if I remember correctly, they were the smallest in the SEC. I think once Georgia implements that big, strong offensive line, kind of similar to an Alabama, you're going to see numbers from Eason, and even when Fromme does get playing time and eventually does start when once Eason leaves, you're going to see numbers that are going to impress a lot of fans and coaches and other teams.
All right, Mark Rogers TV talking Georgia football with Savannah Lee from Bulldog Illustrated. When we provide the full conversation for you on YouTube, it's on SEC Breakdown, so please join us there, and also the individual topics on Mark Rogers TV. Catch the audio version on iTunes and also on Podbean